Okay, so now I would like you to see this thing in action, ART in action. So first of all, just a brief introduction to the straight arm test. So the straight arm test, I use my dominant arm to test the non-dominant arm of the patient. We align our body so we're not in a frontal position, but we're in an open position, so my energy goes past her and hers goes past me. The contact point is at the height of my hara, halfway between the belly button and the sternum, and her elbow is overstretched, her hand is open, and I use as much leverage as I can before the wrist, and I generate the pressure by leaning my body weight on her. This creates an exponential increase in pressure curve, not linear. Yeah, that means, let's say every 1/10 of the second I double my pressure, and the entire test takes about half a second. And it's generated by me pivoting around my ankle joints, leaning my body weight on her. It's not the pump handle that we see often, people that use muscle testing that are not well educated in it. And we certainly don't do this test, and we don't do this test. Yeah, but it's a good amount of pressure of my whole body weight leaning into her, but the high amount of pressure is only for a fraction of a second. So this is just my brief introduction to it. My foot is forward on the side where my arm is at its testing, so in case your arm gives, when it goes weak, I don't fall. Good. Now I want to show you the thing with the light. So first of all, understand that in a healthy body, photons, biophotons, oscillate in this plane. They come out of her body in millions, billions of parallel planes that are structured like this. The linear polarization filter that I use looks like this, and it has a grid on it. There's a marking on it where I can see the grid goes like this. And the phenomenon is pretty simple. When I align the grid with the way light comes out of her body, the strong arm goes weak. If I twist the grid and hold it 90 degrees to her, nothing happens. Remember, there was that picture with the two sunglasses. If they're 90 degrees, at a 90-degree angle to each other, when they're polarized linearly, there's no light going through. If I put the pull filter at a 90-degree angle, no light is going through. I don't get the phenomenon. I only get it when I hold it in the correct position. Now this allows me now to check her body very quickly for places where the light may not come out correctly. So let's just take a few places. Yeah, her brain is good, the maxillary sinus is good, the tonsils, the thyroid is good. I know her weak spot, I go over the eyes, and it's not. Yeah, there is no resonance at the correct angle. I can see, is it twisted? Yeah, and it's twisted about 80 degrees clockwise on the right eye, and about 60 degrees on the left eye. Now I can go check the thymus, that's okay, the lungs are okay, I can check the belly, the pelvis, and I can check joints. Yeah, I can go over the elbow joint. On this side it's okay. Her wrist joint on the right side is not giving us a correct angle. It's slightly twisted 20 degrees counterclockwise. This is the work with the pull filter. It allows us very quickly to assess body places, body organs. And so I want to introduce you now to the signal enhancer. So the signal enhancer is this tool. It looks like this. It's a very extremely highly organized plastic material where each molecule has exactly the same distance to each other molecule. That makes it like a perfect crystal. And anything I place on here it amplifies its biophoton emissions, but completely erases the electromagnetic field, any other phenomena. And so by placing this next to her, I can now, she stands close to it, I can now go back to my test here on the eye. Let's just take the right eye. Yeah, it's not emitting light in the correct way. And I can now use the second signal enhancer and scan different supplements to see if we find something that will improve the polarization angle, the coherence of the light coming out of her eyes. And so I just go over my test kit now. I cover about 6 vials in my test kit of particular herbs that I'm scanning for. You know, and here we're finding something that will work for her, that is correcting the angle there, and it's quite quick and immediate. Let me see what it is. Yeah, it's Ginkgo Flow. Ginkgo Flow is a special preparation of biodynamically grown and harvested ginkgo biloba with a few tricks worked into it. Yeah, and so this is it's a strong plant antioxidant. And I want to show you, if she holds it in the hand does not amplify the biophotons like many kinesiologists would test. Yeah, we don't get any change. Yeah, it's only by filtering out the biophotons and amplifying it that it gives us the reading that this actually would heal her eye. We would have missed it based on any other testing. So this is one thing I wanted to show you. This is supposed to be only a brief introduction to ART testing in its fuller form. We will gradually give you the pieces, but there is one more piece I want to show you. Now I take everything away, and that is the work with the mirror. This is an amplification mirror that women use for their cosmetic work. It amplifies 15 times. And I first want to show you the phenomenon, and then we see what we do with it. Yeah? So I'm scanning her body with the mirror instead of with my hand. And you see that I'm also over the eyes getting arm going weak. And so we already know the solution. I put the ginkgo on there, and we see that this phenomenon disappears. Now, what did I just do? The body emits always light, and we found through experiments in places where the body emits healthy light, if I reflect that back with the amplification mirror, the body likes it. It says, okay, I know my light, I'm fine with it, there's no reaction. But in places where the body emits light that carries the information of pathology, if I reflect that back amplified, the body goes in a stress reaction. It shows me, no, this area is not okay, I need help. And then again, we can use test kits of certain materials. In this case, we already found a solution with another aspect of our work, and by placing that in there, it immediately corrects the light emissions that come from the eye. It no longer carries stress signals with it by placing the right remedy in there. So this is really, for now, like with the amplification mirror, we can find places in our body that are under distress that no other system will find. And there is a special application of the mirror work that a friend of us in Norway has developed by actually using the mirror and holding it in the position where the stress signal is. The body reflecting the pathological information back. It's perceived by the body, sends a message to the brain, hey, here's an area under distress that you have not taken care of. And the brain will automatically reset its activity in the area and self-correct the pathology without needing any tools. And this process takes usually about 33 to 34 seconds. And we can see with the muscle testing, with the ART testing, okay, now it's done. Yeah, and so we reset that, and then we could show now, but that's in the higher courses, that now there would be no need for the ginkgo biloba. So we can replace supplements and medications very often with the biophysics-based intervention. In this case, this is true biofeedback. We're feeding back to the body something that's not right. The body, because it's amplified now, wakes up to, oh my God, there's an area I haven't healed, I haven't taken care of, and the body then becomes instrumental in creating the healing frequencies, the healing compounds that are channeled into the area. This is really all I wanted to say in this short session. I repeat a few things. So we work with the linear polarization filter, a special piece of glass that is very hard to come by. Most of the polarization filters you can buy in Photoshops now are circular polarized. They don't work with this work. We need linear. And so by placing this in the correct position over the body, we can scan the body where the body has lost its ability to create coherent light. And that is either an expression of already existing illness or the early process of beginning illness. We can find any cancer with it, any metastasis of cancer. We can find any joint dysfunction, any ailing tooth, any ailing jaw joint. And the wonderful thing is that the interventions that we test them for are the interventions that actually work. Not the interventions that may do a little bit of work, but not much. These are the deepest interventions that we find that actually work. That's number one. Number two, by scanning supplements and medical interventions with the signal enhancer, by using this particular tool, we're screening out the actual biophoton emissions of a substance. And we're finding, for example, you can buy ginkgo biloba in the health food store that is not grown and harvested biodynamically. It will be dead in terms of the biophoton emissions, will not have any effect. But by actually having grown and groomed herbs and herbal products for the biophoton emissions, we have created a whole different system of medicine. These are not laser enhanced. This is the way the herbs, the seeds are selected, where they're grown, the climate conditions, the love that's put in that, and the biodynamical principles developed by Rudolf Steiner that have gone into this to groom, to concentrate the biophoton emissions of this, which is what is needed in the mitochondria, into the cell organelles. What is needed ultimately is not the chemistry, it's not the electrons even, the oxidants, antioxidants, but it is the biophotons. Mm-hmm. Let me explain that in other ways. This has to do with aspect of physics that I love. So just like Earth is a planet around the sun, electrons are like planets around a proton, or they're circulating around an atom. And each electron, and this is not what you've learned in physics in school, each electron has a cloud of photons around it. And it's the photons that are the carrier of information, of the life force, not the electron, not the atom. And at the essence of all metabolic processes is an exchange of light, of photons. It's not the electrons that matter, it's not the protons, it's not the atoms that matter, it's the light that matters at the deepest level. And current health issues, the incredible astronomical increase in chronic health, is because the microwave environment that we live in and the toxic environment and the way food is grown has hugely depleted us of the type and the quality of light that comes into our body. And we bring that back through the right supplements, through the right testing method, and of course through the psychological work that we do and the direct work we do with light, with the photon wave. Some of you are aware of that. I will come in later courses where we discuss that. So this system looks very much on the surface like any other system of muscle testing, but in its inner working, it is very, very different. The conclusions are different and are often surprising, and the results are amazing. The only enemy that we have is people sleeping in a Wi-Fi environment, sleeping in bad electromagnetic fields, which depletes you of biophoton energy, and the psychological environment that people live in, and the toxic environment people live in. And so a big part of our work has to do with cleaning up the home, cleaning up the inner toxic environment, and cleaning up the psychological environment. And then with that, the remedies and the treatment guidance that we give works beautifully.